the assessment is raised usually when there's a change in ownership, because on a property that was transferred this year, the county goes out and checks it out, and again, this is mine? No, this is someone else's. Well, so much like it, I apologize. I was about to store another cell phone. Now again, as of 2009, there was a new law. You might see it on your statement test. Non-homestead properties, because of all the lobbying, are now capped at no more than 10%, where it used to be unlimited. So our business interests always get in check.
So 10% from what was previously taxed?
From the previous assessed value for property taxes on non-homestead vacation properties, commercial, et cetera, now have a 10% cap, where they didn't have one before. Now, one of the things you will deal with, and we're not going to spend a great deal of time in it, is what is called portability, where one can port their homestead tax exemption if they had a principal residence in the state of Florida and move to another principal residence in the state of Florida. Before 2009, one lost all their homestead tax exemptions and had to start afresh in the new property. Now, depending on circumstance, and that's all we're going to say right now, on homestead property, they can move it or portabilize it when the market value is greater. You do not get the value of the portability if the market value of the new home is lower. To go through the complex scenarios without seeing it on tomorrow's test would not be worth your while, because time is everything. Now, one of the things you have to be aware of is this. Certain properties, by the nature of what they are, not only do not pay property taxes, they use property tax revenue. So please be aware of this.
Church and government. Government.
Now again, on page 298, look at the difference between exempt and immune. To be very clear, exempt properties are properties because of their use at that time will be relieved of tax liability because of their use. All nonprofits are exempted. They are not immune, because if they change to profitable or the use changes on the property, it will become taxable. Same with religious properties. Freedom of religion does not allow any government entity to tax religious entities. So churches, synagogues, mosques, etc., temples are exempted. They do get levied with an assessment, but they are relieved from the liability to pay because they are exempted. In essence, an exempt property will have an appraiser look at it, but they are tax-free. An immune property, by its nature, is not looked at for taxable value, because frankly, immune properties use tax dollars, they do not pay tax dollars, right? So any government property does not even get a look from the county property appraiser. Now, many of you asked about the airports. Miami-Dade Airport is a county airport. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood is a Broward County-owned property, as is Palm Beach Airport, Palm Beach owned. So those airports are immune. They are governmental properties which do not contribute, but use tax dollars, as does any government building. Your public school buildings are all immune. They're paid for through local tax revenues. They do not add revenue, they add additional So that, in essence, is the difference between exempt and immune properties. Now, one of the funky things, and this is where the giggle, is this. We have greenbelt laws in the state of Florida. The greenbelt laws limit property tax assessment for properties that provide air and oxygen. So again, protects owners of agricultural land from an excessive taxation. So an area I used to work in, and that was my farm, Davie, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Davie, Florida is a growing commercial area. But there are property owners who keep the agricultural use.
Extension.
I had a good friend, Bob Roth, the Roth Orange Groves. He's paying taxes on an agricultural basis of agricultural property assessed for value for taxes at $1,500 an acre. A square foot of property in that neighborhood is $1,500 taxes. So he keeps that property as an orange grove, and many agricultural owners, Southwest Ranches is the biggest scam. Southwest Ranch is 5 acres of beautiful, high-value property. Put a few horses on it. Now you're paying based on agricultural use. When Weston was developed, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, not only were weeds growing, so were cattle. And again, we found out the developers, they rent cattle from people, and they put them on the land, pay a high rent. The farmers, the ranchers are taken care of, their cattle are taken care of and fed, plus it costs the developer about $1,000 a head to rent them. So the developers are using this like crazy. Yeah. It got really bad, and they tightened up on us. There was a gas station on Biscayne Boulevard. He had to replace the lead tanks. He put a goat on the property while he was closed down. Agricultural property here is assessed in Miami-Dade at $900 an acre.
So all you need is an animal, like a goat?
They got a little stricter.
Yeah.
I
Seems
don't
like
wanna
I get
go
it.
there. I don't want to go there, but now you know why you should
Chickens.
cattle before development.
Whatever.
Yeah. Again, assessment based on actual use, the agricultural use, rather than the value of use, etc. Now, again, the other area of expertise they have to touch on is what is called the city or county special assessment. The city or county is freely allowed to assess properties when they improve the property value for the owners. So again, it is one-time tax. It's not according to value as for our annual real estate taxes. But if you look on page 299, special assessments are tax levies to pay for specific public improvements that do add value to the property. Special assessment liens may be for paving the street, connecting property to central water or sewer, street lighting, and so on. Special assessments that have been announced but not completed or pending, yada, yada. But here's the key point. The owner of a property would generally pay a special assessment lien since the value of the property has been approved and can be recaptured in the sale of the property. A potential buyer would normally pay for anything pending, but that must be disclosed because it's material to value. Here's how it works. On line number 6, page 300. Again, special assessments are not an ad valorem tax. The cost of the improvement is apportioned among the property owners receiving the benefit. Often the city or county will agree to pay a share of the cost, with the balance allocated to the property owners. The cost to each property owner is based on the degree of benefit, not the value of the property. Again, the most popular way that we're going to do it is on a front-foot basis on line 16. Front foot basis is the cost of the improvement that is expected as a cost per front foot and is allocated among the property owners on the basis of the number of feet the owner has along the street. Now, this is a very important differentiation, because the number of feet an owner would have would normally be 2, right? But front footage would be different. Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so glad we're clarifying. Again,
Some have 4 feet.
I do. Okay,
Just
this
seen it for
method
a
is
week.
used when streets are being paved or sidewalks are being installed. Licensees should be aware that when street dimensions are being quoted, the first number given is always the length of the street. Side dimensions follow the street dimension. The following is an example of how a special assessment is calculated. A road is to be repaved if the city will decide to assume 30% of the expense. How much would be the special assessment for a property with a lot size measuring 110 by 130? Now, again, they're paving in front, that's the 110 feet, at $10 would be the total cost of 1,100. Now, here is the trick.
City pays.
The total city contribution will be 30%, meaning 330, so the total cost of property owners would be $770. One owner with a 110-foot piece of land would pay half of that, $385. Always for your test, there are 2 owners. Always for your test, there are 2 owners.
So you're gonna split the cost with someone
Yeah,
else?
they split the cost. And frankly, if it's a county property across the street, the county pays nothing, they still pay it.
Oh,
They still pay half. It's
Oh.
always half, always half, always half, always half. And when in doubt, it's always half.
okay.
Can I ask a question?
You just did. Yeah,
Okay, all right, so I understand everything here, but it doesn't say that there are 2 owners in the example.
it doesn't
says
matter that
each.
there's 2 owners.
Okay,
Half is to 1. It doesn't matter if there's nothing across the street. It's still half.
You're sharing the
It
cost.
doesn't matter if there's a wider property across the street. They only pay their half of what their front footage is. That's all you gotta know.
Do they, require you to pay that right up front, or are they gonna,
No, they send you a bill.
okay.
But if you don't pay it, they will foreclose. They're right behind property taxes, yes. That's what we learned in chapter 9. Property taxes first, special assessments 2. If you don't pay it, they will foreclose. They will find someone who will.
And you can only pay that once when you own the
It
property?
is a one-time levy for the improvement.
Okay,
They don't, unless they improve your property every year,
right.
it won't be annual, right?
Right,
So that's what's called a one-time tax.
special assessment.
And it's not recorded to value because it's to pay for the improvement, has nothing to, it does add to value, it's not slush. Okay, we are very